I don't have to worry. Why would I worry when I know it's working for me? It's working for my good. I don't have to worry. Why would I worry when I know it's working for me? It's working for my good. Hold up. It's working for my good.
Yo, what up, family? This is Travis Greene. A lot has happened since the last time I saw y'all. I am now a whole doctor. I cannot believe that. I defended my dissertation, ladies and gentlemen. So from now on, I would like to be called Travis Greene. Hey, listen, this is the Intentional Podcast with Travis Greene. Intentional living in an unpredictable world. And on this pod, we talk about how you can't control the world around you, but you can control, and you are responsible for the life you live and how you go about that life intentionally. Man, this is episode 2, and I'm pumped because I got my brother. This guy right here has been through a lot. We'll get into the story through this conversation. But there's some people that don't even feel right to call a friend, and this is one of them. It's more than a friend. It's my brother. At my peak seasons, the highest points of my life, he's there. And also at some of my lowest, when I've faced battles or betrayal or not even wanting a pastor and just all the things that come along with the life that we live. He's been there and present and vice versa. And I'm just really excited, man. I want y'all to make some noise. Come on, all over the world. There you go. Come on. That's you too, Essence. Come on, Kendrick. You can, everybody join in. Y'all make some noise. Vernon Gordon, ladies and gentlemen.
It was good.
Vernon, what's your middle name?
Man, Lee. L-E-E, real simple.
Man, that
kind of anticlimactic.
It's a letdown, but...
But I'm a third, so it's kind of legacy. You know, Vernon Lee Gordon third.
Come on, Jackson. Why you ain't make him the fourth?
Yeah, that's not bring that up.
Was it not you or not Ashley?
No, it was me. It was me, actually, all me. But, I just felt like I wanted to give him his own story to walk in and all of that stuff. But my father is still very different. He brings it up once every other year on a holiday.
Once you get the third, you got to keep that thing going. So I named my son Junior, but I gave him a different middle name.
Does that count? I don't know if
I think by the time you get to his son, no one would know what my middle name was. That's the idea. You know my middle name?
No. What? Travis, Cornelius feels like it's right.
It's close.
What is it?
It's the same syllables.
No, I don't know.
Montorius.
Get yourself out of here.
You've heard that.
I have probably.
Yeah, you've heard that. You probably just forgot.
The pictures I've seen when you were young, I give them Montori.
Yeah, my mom still calls me that. Montorius. So they named me after the pastor's son in Myrtle Beach. Don't know why.
Not the pastor, but the pastor's son.
The pastor's son. And they call him Tory. But they named me after him, Montorius. So you know what? I want a junior if I have another son. First son had to be David. That was off the rip. David's my favorite Bible character. Okay. So that was a given. That was always a given. If I said I have another son, he's a junior, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. So Travis Joshua Greene, Jr. Hey, you can do all things through Christ.
Yeah, I think you can write your own story. And that's what you do.
Yo, man, I'm pumped that you're here because you are a fascinating individual, and you are an amazing speaker, amazing pastor. Your church. I feel like you never struggled with church stuff, man. I just feel like day one, and maybe struggle ain't the right word, but like you never had a small church. Like you kind of just came. You did. I was there, Vernon. What are you talking about?
No.
You started with a lot of people. Most people start with like 20. Oh, we had an interest group, and you didn't. Don't lie on this podcast. You didn't. You never had.
Nobody lies on the Intentional Podcast.
Yeah, you never had less than 100 ever that I can remember.
No, not less than 100. No.
Yeah. So and you just always had amazing momentum. People want to follow you. I mean, you're likable. There's a lot about you that's worth following. You're very intelligent. But just the journey, let's give people who don't know Life Church, Richmond, Virginia, give people the journey of like you and Ash starting this church.
Yeah.
And what was that like?
I think the starting point, man, is we didn't plan to pastor. It wasn't like it was a career plan. We never even seen it. We both grew up in small family churches. For me, church I grew up in, my grandmama started in her garage. I see pictures of my daddy playing drums on pots and pans.
Whoa.
Right? My wife grew up in a small Baptist church.
Lee Jr. was playing drums.
Lee Jr. was playing drums. Who's still hot that there's no Lee Fourth. And then my wife, man, she grew up in a very small family Baptist church. One of those Baptist churches that was kind of like the pass-through for a lot of pastors.
Yeah.
Like they had, she probably had 10 pastors, 12 pastors in her life.
Was it like a first and third Sunday type of small
No,
church?
it wasn't that small. They still have church every Sunday, but it was one of those churches where it was a stepping stone in the Baptist candidacy.
I got you.
So you did that for about 3-4 years, and then you got to go to the big church.
I got you.
And so, man, she just had a lot of revolving door pastors, and so we only knew small family church. And then, man, fast forward, I ended up being a student pastor. In between that, I was doing music. That's where we met.
Yep.
And never thought I'd pass. I thought I was going to be the next Ty Tribbett or whatever. We was all jumping around wearing matching outfits. And, God just had a plan, man. I became a
For
youth
those who
pastor.
don't know, Vernon can really, really, really sing. Really sing. He's right. We met on the music scene long time ago.
We did. Doing a concert together.
Maybe 2010?
It was, decades ago. And I remember us getting a chicken dinner in the back afterwards. We were eating, it was wrapped in aluminum foil.
We were just happy to eat.
It was good. Chicken in a roll.
Yeah,
it was good. But yeah, man, so I was youth pastor, and then we just got a vision from God one day about starting a church. And what made it unique was, I tell people, I started preaching on accident. It wasn't a plan for me to start preaching. For those who don't know, I was a former cancer patient. So I had 2 tumors, 14 surgeries, 3 years of chemo. They told me I would die 3 times. But the part of that story that people miss very often is I was in the hospitals, and when I was 14, when I walked into remission, they were like, hey, can you start talking to newly diagnosed patients?
Really?
And they were like, can you just come in, and these families have just gotten the worst news of their life. Would you just tell them how you guys still laugh and make jokes and smile? And no training, no prep, no document, no one-pager. I just started going into these rooms, and people would be super heavy and weighty. And then I'd come out, and they felt lighter, and they felt hope. And I was like, man, I don't know what that feeling is, but I want to do that for the rest of my life. And that's kind of when the bug began to bite, hey, what if there's more to life that you can use your voice to do something to actually bring hope to people? And that kind of started the trajectory. Yep.
I mean, you just in 20 seconds said a lot. People are maybe listening, working out, or driving, or watching, but let's break down into this a little bit. You living a normal life as a kid.
Yep.
Were there any health complications before the age 10?
No, I was a standout athlete.
Well, standout that's aggressive.
It was yeah.
Yeah, that's aggressive. I don't know.
I was that good at 9.
No, you weren't. Standout is crazy.
I was.
I mean, you're acting the way you said it, it's Duke is looking at you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, standout is aggressive. You play sports. you played at the YMCA.
No. I was AAU baseball.
Oh,
and actually,
that AAU back then?
And actually,
you must have been good. I didn't even know that AAU when we was growing up.
So I was basketball, football, baseball. Now, listen, I was not a standout football player.
Okay.
I still remember getting.
I still don't like the word standout attached.
Yeah,
I think that's aggressive.
No,
still
not in baseball.
I don't know.
I had 2
man.
cousins playing in MLB. I can't tell you their name though.
Really? Oh, actually, I think I know one of them. You and Daryl Strawberry look alike. You're not related?
That's wild.
Yeah,
I'm going to bypass that for
you got a little Strawberry right in this area.
I'm going to bypass that. You would pick an addict.
No, not anymore. No, he's delivered and he's a man of God.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know his whole story then. I don't know his whole story.
Oh, no. Daryl he's soaring. He's incredible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no. He's been out of that stuff.
Oh, amen.
Yeah. No, he's killing.
Yeah. Where are we at in this conversation? So I will say this. To that end, I was not a standout
You got
player.
2 cousins that went all the way.
But I was a baseball player.
What, are they first cousins?
Second.
Yeah.
It's in my bloodline, though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Standout is aggressive. So you were a baseball player at AAU, but AAU, do you have to try out? Or you just sign up?
No.
I don't know.
You get picked.
Oh,
you get asked. You get invited.
Okay, you were invited.
I was
AAU.
invited.
Okay, so you were standout.
I was good.
Okay,
that was
so
good.
you're a good baseball
Let's settle
player.
on good.
This is irrelevant with your baseball talent, but you're a normal 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So 10, did you you got hurt? What happened?
Yeah, man. I was actually playing in a tournament, an AAU baseball tournament, and we had multiple games a day, and it was in between games. And one of my aunts was like, "Hey, let's go to this place called Mount Trashmore, that's in Virginia Beach." And we were just kind of hanging out, and we were playing, and then I was kind of coming down a hill, just kind of playing with my cousins, and man, my leg snapped. My femur bone snapped completely in half. My leg was facing one way, the bone was coming out the other. And they were like, hey, this bone is the hardest bone in your body. People get into car accidents and this bone doesn't break, and you were just doing normal childlike activity. This bone shouldn't have broke this way. They did an x-ray. They saw kind of that there was a cloud, but they couldn't verify. Man, they sent me to Richmond about an hour and a half away. Did a biopsy, man, and immediately was like, hey, you got this aggressive form of bone cancer called osteogenic sarcoma. And we see 2 tumors, man, one in your knee, one in your femur. And then
Where's your femur? I don't know body parts.
So it's basically the biggest bone and hardest bone in your body. It's in your thigh.
Okay.
Right? And then I also had another tumor in my knee.
I'm a doctor, but not that kind of doctor. I don't know any body parts.
Yeah, man.
Except like the main ones.
Yeah. So they basically told me like, hey, amputation is your only option.
10.
And we were like, 10. 10. And I'll tell you what was so interesting about that time, which I look back now because I have an 11-year-old and a 10-year-old. And I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine this. But I remember my parents, the doctor coming in to like tell them the options and the diagnosis. And, you know, he was like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Gordon, can you come outside and talk with me? They were like, no, anything you're going to tell us, our son needs to hear, because this is going to be his life.
Jesus.
And even when it came time to making the decision, they was like, hey, if he does keep his leg, we don't know the quality of life he's going to have, and it's likely the cancer will come back. And they say it's his decision, it's his life. And so at 10, I was like, man, I want to keep my leg. I want to fight, man. And God has just been faithful. It hasn't come without complications and challenges, but man, I've been cancer free now for 2 decades, and man, feeling the healthiest I've felt in over a decade. Man, it's been great. You know, I probably could still beat you in basketball 1-on-1.
That's not true. I'm a standout athlete in basketball. All right, explain to me, because I don't know a lot about cancer.
Yeah,
it's just completely random.
Well, there's some cancers that are genetic, but this osteogenic sarcoma is one of the rare.
I like that word. Say it again.
Osteogenic sarcoma.
That's
it's a form of bone cancer.
Yeah,
but it's super aggressive.
I got it. Go ahead.
Super aggressive.
Because people know I speak Spanish, so that's why I like.
Yeah. Well,
I like to hear
very fluent.
Yeah, I like to hear fancy words. Osteogenic sarcoma.
Yeah, close.
Okay, so what? It's an aggressive bone cancer.
Yes.
But you're telling me you don't know you have it. It's just random.
No, I mean, you find out, most people find out, again, through some act of, God, accident, some kids experience pain. And it's like, hey, what is this pain? But I mean, it's a rare, aggressive form of childhood bone cancer. There have been multiple nurses and doctors in my adult life who, when they look at my chart, I can go to the emergency room for something random, like anything, and they will say, I've never known it. I've had multiple people over the last several years tell me, I've never known a child survive it.
Jesus.
And so it's a miracle. And every day I just try to not take for granted that, God has given me breath. God has given me, the ability to take these precious moments and make the most of them. And I think part of that is how I also, have had to really be mindful not to also live in fear, though. Right? I've had to balance that. Right? Because I think there's some side of you that when you've had cancer and you've lived that way, it's easy to cough twice and be like, everybody else is like, oh, I might have a cold, but you're like, ugh. Is it something else? And so, you always live in the tension of knowing that you're on the other side of the miracle, but there's a truth and reality too that you navigate, that the other side of the miracle doesn't mean you still don't have the residue of the past. And so I just try to be very intentional about telling people, like, you don't know, but you get to choose whether to live with joy and faith, and, and every day just wake up and say, man, I'm put one foot in front of the other and choose to trust God more than trusting my fears.
Great. Are you born with it, or is it developed, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's different. I think it's different for everybody. I mean, like, again, just like, some of it is genetic. So for osteogenic sarcoma, they don't have a lot of like.
Do you
strong
sometimes
research.
just say the word that sounds smart, or is there another way you could say it?
Yeah, you want me to? I'm gonna say bone cancer.
Okay, yeah, because I don't feel like you have to say osteogenic. Blah, blah, blah. I just feel like at this point you're trying to like show off. Which no, yeah, you do that. Vernon.
No, I don't.
Not specifically with this, but everyone knows you have a very big vocabulary. You did good today. First of all, you preached at Ford City.
I did,
and you did not get crazy fancy with your words. I don't know if like humility is starting to set in at the stage of your life, or you're like just. You finding other ways. I don't know if something clicked and you was like, oh,
what's
99% of humanity don't know these words. Let me stop just using them. Because the younger Vernon preacher would I felt like you did it on purpose. You could tell me you didn't, but you would like, hey, let me remind y'all how dumb everyone is. And you just throw out like kind of like Stephen A, like just reckless big words.
Stephen A throws out random words.
You used to do that a lot.
I love words.
You've gotten a lot better.
I love words.
You've gotten a lot better.
Can we just pause and just acknowledge?
You've got a lot better.
You asked me to explain osteogenic sarcoma multiple times in great detail. And then I start talking about
say bone
what
cancer.
you asked me to talk about.
Just say BC.
And then you gonna tell me.
Man, that's how they say it. Just say bone cancer. Because when you think about osteogenic sarcoidosis, golly, bro.
This is the intentional podcast. Unpredictable. Unpredictable, people.
All right. So bone cancer, is it developed? Are you born with it?
They do not have a lot of research on mine, particularly like my form. They don't have a lot of research.
I cannot. Like I'm so.
Yeah. And it's so
crazy.
unpredictable in that way. So it's not anything you can really plan for. And this is what I'll tell people, man. Like, I mean, one, you just don't walk with fear and just say, well, maybe I have cancer one day. But I do think that, man, just if you have children, I would just say, man, pay attention. Like, listen. Listen to them. Like, don't ignore. My dad was a Marine, so like I kind of grew up in one of those like, man, throw some dirt on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
And so I think I just would tell any parent, like, there's no rhyme or reason. But like, hey, listen to your kids. Like, if something's lingering, something seems like it's a little bit more than just kind of like them being a little soft or a little privileged, and then like, lean in. And I think a big part of that is advocacy at doctors. I'm a really big advocate for helping people find their voice in medical practices.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what you do is you walk into those spaces and they're overwhelmed, right? The medical industry is overwhelmed. And so, man, just be an advocate. Like if you personally or somebody who's like, hey, no, something still don't feel right. Like when I went back to get my last surgery a couple of years ago, I had a doctor literally tell me like, hey, we looked at all your x-rays, everything's looked fine. Now, if I hadn't had the extensive medical history I would have had, I was like, hey, I'm really not new to this. Like I got a lot of surgeries over this. Something's wrong. And they were like, well, nothing looks wrong. I was like, hey, I need you to compare it to old analysis, you know what I'm saying? And so, and by the grace of God, I was able to connect with another doctor who was like, oh, I know what the problem is. They didn't compare it to this, more than a decade ago. And so, but yeah, man, be an advocate. Use your voice when it comes to that stuff because you just don't know.
14 surgeries?
14 surgeries.
Now, you're having these almost every year. What is causing them? Are you going in there finding something? Are you feeling something? What's make you have all of these surgeries?
So a big part of it was, the type of cancer where it was placed that I had. They had to take out my growth plate in my knee. And again, all the bones in my right leg from my knee up to almost my hip. So it's all metal, plastic, and a version of liquid semen inside. Jeez. And so as a result of
like
that,
the Terminator.
Pretty much, man. I thank God for these new devices at TSA where you can just put your hands up. Because listen to me, walking through.
Yeah, I thought when you share that, I often think he's one of those guys at TSA that is like, you got, you like, yeah,
take him out back.
I'm Terminator. You don't have to do something different.
But no, I will say, two reasons. One was, man, they put material in my leg. And they just told me not to be a kid, and it was just not going to happen. And I'm one of those people who, if you tell me, like, I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong. So they told me I would never walk without a walker. They told me I would never run again. So I secretly, like, this is a story I tell people that most people don't know. In high school, I tried out for the high school basketball team after, like, 6 or 7 surgeries. So at this point, I already got all metal in my leg. My mom, I wasn't supposed to be running on it. So I tried out. It was a 6-day tryout. So Monday through Friday, I told my mom I was staying after school for, like, extra tutoring. Just lying, all right? I was like, I'm just getting some extra help in this subject, trying out for the basketball team every day, literally putting my clothes back on, right? Whole outfit, spraying Axe body spray. That's when we ain't take no shower, we're just dirty. We just spray Axe body spray over
cover
it. And just like, my mama expected me to be funky when I walked in the house, so it didn't really matter. And so I would come in the house, but that Saturday was the hard one. I was like, man, how am I gonna go to the Saturday trial? Because I made it through the first 2 cuts. I made it to the Saturday tryout, and I don't remember what I said, but I got to the school that morning, did the tryout, and made the team. And I remember coming back home that next week and telling my mom, hey, I made the high school basketball team. And she was like, that's impossible because you didn't try out for a high school basketball team. But, a lot of it was like at least 3 or 4 of those surgeries as a kid was just like, I was just destroying the material inside. Like they tell me go outside and make sure you don't do what you ain't supposed to do. And then I get around the corner and be like, hey, tag me in, let me play football. Like, it was just 11, 12, now listen. Yeah. And then some of it was just, they had to take out the growth plate in my leg. So I had to have a natural surgery like every couple of years just to extend my leg, like physically. Like my left leg was still growing the regular rate, but my right leg wasn't. So literally to manage back pain, they would have to go in and extend my right leg to match my left leg like every couple of years.
Are they cutting in the same scar area, or are they creating new? Like, how's that working?
Yeah, same scar area, like it's all the way up the side of my leg. I don't know if your viewers will want to see the picture. I'll put them in the show notes. I'll send you a picture. Yeah, for sure. But it's a big scar. Sure. It's a big scar. It goes up the entire side of my leg.
Have you named them? Did the scar have a name?
No, I didn't name the scars. Okay. Nope.
If it's like one that you, at this point, you should probably name them.
Name them? I'm gonna give serious consideration to that.
How many? How many scars are there?
I at least have 6 or 7 prominent ones. One big one where they constantly opened up the wound. Then several other small ones where like different things happened, like they had to, do suction or something like that. And then I have 2 on my chest because during I took chemo, they put in a central port. So that basically is like, so they don't have to keep going in your IV in the arm. They put in a permanent port.
All right, man.
I got all of that, man. Grow up in hospitals.
Dude, like you have your vantage point. I can only imagine. I mean, you know my story. I was pronounced dead, and I've had some close calls and been through some stuff. But man, you're told, your parents are literally told 3 times,
yep,
this is it.
Yep.
What type of, like they're saying you got like a couple months when they're saying you're not going to make it?
Yeah, on 2 occasions I know in particular, it was like, we don't know what to do, so we're going to keep monitoring this to see how aggressive it is. One moment in particular I can remember where they said, hey,
how old?
Yeah, I was 13 maybe, and they said, hey, it looks like it's spreading to his lungs, and hey, we don't know what we can do. It's hard to kind of maneuver around that, and so we're just going to bring him back in another few weeks, and we're just going to see how aggressive it is. We'll get a better sense of how rapidly it's expanding, right? And so you go home, and for 3 weeks you're just sitting there like, I don't know if this is crawling all over my body. I don't know if this is just taking over. Is it spread? And in your mind, right? I mean, you're like, oh my God, it's spreading over my entire body. And I remember going back in 3 weeks, and I had a praying grandmother, man. I thank God for the faith family that I kind of grew up in, man. They just said, man, we're going to commit this to prayer every day, fasting and prayer. I went back to the hospital, and same place, same x-ray machine, and they said, hey, something's wrong with the x-ray tech because we don't see the spots on his lungs anymore. No treatment in between that time. No just extra. So then they were like, well, we want to put him with another technician. Maybe it's the user error. Right, went to another x-ray, went to another technician. They said, man, we can't find anything. Literally, they were like, the spots that we saw in his lungs, we have the x-ray. We see them no more. Jesus. And so for me, man, my life has just been a constant just acknowledgement of the power of miracles. I mean, discipline as well. Like I'm now doing my part, right? Eating healthy, working out, the parts that I can play to keep myself healthy, partnering with God. But man, I just look back on all those moments and just know like, it was nothing but the hand of God that, and to your point about vantage point, I think what it does for me now is that it gives me perspective. I think one of the things, it probably frustrates my wife sometimes, but I would just be like, in the scheme of life, this is small. What I think facing death does is it puts things in perspective. That things you think are big are actually not as big as you think they are. Like you're going to lose sleep. You're going to lose laughter with your kids. You're gonna lose. I walk in my house a lot. And I'm like, hey, that was work. That's not life in its entirety. Yes. Oh, that was this person, but that's not my whole life. And I think what going through that experience does is it allows and shows you not how to compartmentalize in a way that makes you unaware that you have things you need to face, but in a way that helps you to put in perspective, this is not all of who I am. And so, man, for me, I'm just like, I live with joy as a choice. Right, that's my portion. Joy is my choice. I don't give it away to people. I don't give it away to bad seasons. I don't give it away to revenue change. I don't give it away. Like joy is my portion. It's something I get to choose. And I got that from a poem I got when I was in the hospital. Man, one of my cousins gave me a poem. They said, "What cancer can't do,
What was it?
What cancer can't do. What cancer can't do. And it was like cancer can steal hair. It can steal strength. It can make you weak. It can take, energy, but it cannot steal joy.
Jesus.
Cannot steal peace. Cannot take family. Cannot take laughter. And so you get to choose what you carry through the season that you're in. And I would just encourage anybody, your story may not be cancer, but man, choose joy in the midst of the journey, right? Don't let it take everything. Some things it can't touch. You choose whether to give those away.
Yo, it's so crazy you said that, man. In my early 20s, there was someone that was really close to me, and she was older, but we were really close. And I remember it was in my early 20s, so this is probably 20 years ago. But I had made a post on like Facebook or something, young preacher, and I had put something on there like, "Hey, joy is a choice. Like you could choose joy." And she commented underneath and was like, "Yeah, I don't believe that." And ironically enough, she had cancer.
Wow.
And she was like, when you go through what I've gone through, you can't even choose joy. She passed. It's really sad. I sung at her funeral. But I remember the tension of, I was like, man, I almost felt like I wasn't qualified because our stories weren't similar, although I've been through things. But I really just believe that in my heart that no matter what you face, like you can still choose joy and choose to live intentionally with the life you have left, whatever that is. However, you're 38?
Seven.
7?
Yep.
So my dad was 28 when he died, and it's like, I think because of what he went through as well, it definitely contributed to my vantage point of life almost similarly in that it's like, man, when you see somebody take their last breath at 28, it's like a lot of people walk around thinking that tomorrow is promised. I often say that your next breath is God's option. And you literally just never, ever know. But I love the fact that you've chosen to live not only intentionally, and you're an amazing just human. You're an amazing brother, friend, son. I've seen how you have taken care of showing up for your family, your mom, taking care of her and your children and your wife. But man, you really permeate a life of joy. Even after going through Englossophonia syphilis at a young age, you have so much joy, and so much so that you've written a book about it. Life Beyond Fear is a brand new book, unlocking kingdom courage in a worry-filled world. I think this is so brilliant, man, and you got Tony Dungy, first of all, who is also a standout athlete, to write the foreword on this. But man, with the time we have left, I'd love to just hear what led you to write this book, just in the current phase of your life, and what is your big message that you want the world to hear behind this story?
Yeah, I say a few things, really quickly. I think one, the most repeated command by God in the Bible is fear not. And as I started to read through all of these scriptures, I started saying, man, if God repeats it, we should probably respond to it.
Great.
And so I think a huge part of what I want people to uncover is like, since the beginning of time, God has been calling out to his sons and daughters like, hey, you don't have to live under the weight of fear. You can choose to find a life beyond it, but it is a choice. And so I think part of what I want to do is call out the ways to, one, discover how fear might be informing your decisions and direction. Because I think fear never announces itself. It usually disguises itself, right? And so in chapter 2 of the book, I write about the 8 faces of fear, right? Because it shows up, and if you don't notice it, it'll be influencing and impeding, right, parts of your life. And so like one of the faces of fear that I talk about is procrastination, right? Like you can call it whatever you want. You can name it many names, but at the end of the day, it's like fear underneath the surface. And I like to say procrastination is the arrogant belief that God owes it to me to bless me the same way in every season, even when I wasn't obedient in the last one, right? And why wasn't I obedient? Because of fear,
arrogant
right?
belief.
So I think that's been a huge thing. I also talk about the importance of community And this is what I love about our relationship. Like being your brother over the years, man, almost 2 decades of friendship, you cannot be your friend and not have faith. Like if you've ever been around Travis and Jackie Greene, you're going to believe something. You're going to believe God for something, right? And that people don't recognize how much. Nobody I've found that is faith-filled or courageous or bold feels that way all the time. Like there's a point where they're like, I think I'm kind of, and it's fueled by relationship. And so I talk about even in the book, like a case study. I know one of your favorite biblical characters is David.
Big time.
And I talk about even a case study of David's story and how he shows us the 5 types of people that we actually need, because becoming brave is a personal project, but staying brave is a group project.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna just list them real quick.
Please.
So I'm gonna give you the 5, right?
Please.
If you look chronologically at David's life, the first type of person you need in your life is a catalyst, right? David's not thinking about becoming a king. He's in the field just doing what he's supposed to do. And then who shows up? Samuel. And he prophesies, hey, there's more in you. There's a king on you. He anoints him. Then what does he do? He leaves. And it's like, okay, well, now I've heard there's more for me, right? Somebody's called that out. But then I gotta just be patient and wait on that and stir that gift. Then fast forward, this second one we run from, but then you also need contenders. If there's no Goliath, there's no King David. They didn't write songs about him until he fought Goliath, right? And so it is the thing that is opposition in your life may be the thing ready to usher you into opportunity. Beautiful. Right? So you need some battles, right? Now make sure you're fighting the battle that God actually called you to.
Yes.
Then fast forward, right? Now new level of success, new level of exposure. He needs confidants, right? He's knit to the soul of Jonathan, the Bible says, right? He needs somebody to be vulnerable with, to be honest with. Fast forward, right? He needs champions. He's on the run from Saul. He says 30 mighty men come, and they not only have walked with him in the wilderness, but then they end up right with him when he becomes king. They have many military exploits. But I like to say, everybody needs one friend or a few friends who just pull up on you, right? They don't need to know why we fighting. They don't need to know what's going on. They're like, I got you. You need people who believe in you. You need people who show up for you, right? We all need that. You need champions in your life. And then lastly, after David becomes king and many accomplishments and much success, right? He still needs a counselor. He needs a Nathan. Good. He needs a truth teller. Good. You need somebody who's willing to tell you your stuff stink, right? And at every phase of your life, you need these 5 people. And so what I've just been encouraging people to say, hey, staying brave is a group project. Find the people in your life who help you stay the course, because it's so easy to shrink back under the spirit of fear. But God has called you to walk in power, love, and a sound mind. And my hope is that people, man, just unlock the courage that will lead them into their future, because there's a better life for you to live.
Brilliant. Man, I was hoping you'd give us those 5 people we need in our life. I was hoping you'd give us that. But it's also in his book, ladies and gentlemen, Life Beyond Fear. Name the cities that your churches are located in. Yeah,
so we have 2 locations in Richmond, Virginia, south side and the north side. We have a location in Alexandria, Virginia, right outside of D.C. And then we have a location in Charlotte, North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Sweet Carolina.
Yeah. So any of those areas, Alexandria, Richmond, Charlotte, pull up, man. This guy, he's the real deal. He lives this stuff for real. He's all about intentional living in an unpredictable world. I just want to say this also, man. If we got anybody out there that's going through health issues or sickness, I'm like the only person in his life that could pick fun of him. I do this off camera all the time. And he got different things he pick on me about all the time. And it's our way of just humanizing even our life. But God, man, whenever anything has happened, his surgery, I'm there. It's no questions asked. I'm there with him, with my brother. I am my brother's keeper. And I love you so much. So I want to encourage you, if you are watching, if you're going through anything, no matter how dirty it is or how low it is, make sure you have your Jonathan. Make sure you have someone around you that can help you choose joy intentionally, choose to live beyond fear intentionally, choose not to take life for granted intentionally. And man, I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining this episode. We'll have all the links, all the stuff below where you can get this book and follow my brother all over the internet. We love y'all so much. Thank you for locking in. Keep it intentional.